Chico's gonna be dope. But speaking of album that we actually can listen to, you know what I'm saying? We gotta talk about that Lloyd Banks, man, dropping that album, man.
Okay.
We was talking about this last night, 2:00 in the morning, man, and
yeah, we was.
I'm serious, man.
You want to set this one off?
Nah, man. Like I want to hear your thoughts on this one, man. What's your thoughts? Because this is the thing, man. Lloyd Banks is almost like a cognac, man, a XO, man. Like either you love him or you don't. You know what I'm saying? So what was your thoughts on the Lloyd Banks joint?
I mean, I totally agree. You know, and I think he's embraced that. Along with other things that he's learned across, you know, from his G Unit days up until this point. You know, obviously he, just like we all do, go through various experiences. And I feel like the first course of the inevitable was kind of like the entryway into the gates, or maybe the exit, however, you know, you want to view that, into the zone that we're hearing him here with this part 2 album of Course of the Inevitable. I mean, just to cite off a few tracks offhand, Impact, I believe that's the first song that starts off with like mad wordplay that we all know. Blue Hefner to Deliver. Let's see, there's Murder One. That essentially is on some, you know, watch out when showing love for those who don't show love back. And that leads me into the first single, Dead Roses, which is on some real ish when it comes to, you know, those who won't give kudos and credit until you passed away, which I got to give this platform credit, because we always, pretty much mostly on Wednesdays, but we always give flowers in some shape, form, or fashion with each and every individual hosting. And, you know, we could at least say that, you know, we are one of those individuals that Lloyd's not talking about. And to tie that in with the video, and this is just what I got, the entirety of the video is black and white except one aspect of it, and it's the roses that you see on the ground in one of the scenes of the video. And what I get from that is that being, you know, color represents vibrancy. It represents, you know, some type of liveliness. And if you're not willing to give somebody their credit or liveliness or some type of just vibrance overall in the form of credit, and you're just going to lay on the ground like on how Lloyd had shown on his video, you know what I'm saying? Because that was the only thing that was in color. And it just goes to show, like, he's learned. That's been one of the things, along with many things, that he's embraced from a standpoint of wisdom. But, you know, not to go too long on that one, go ahead and check that video out. There's a song called Living Proof that has a scent of some kind of Essence 90s when I heard the bass and the drums and the overall beat. I think that the standout song, because the bulk of this album is really just in the Pocket Iceberg. So it's really hard to find a standout joint on here. But I do think that the instant one that stands out is the female joint called Fell in Love, because it has like a slight new school. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a definite banger. You know, it has that slight new school like accent seasoning on it, but the beat still, you know, goes pretty hard. And I think the next standout one might be that Power Steering joint featuring Jadakiss, because
and this is the thing, before you go all the way in.
No, I wasn't. Go ahead.
Planet Asia that Touch is talking about. He's heavy, man. Frisco all day, man. Like,
yes.
If you're not tapped in with Planet Asia,
check him out.
Check that out, man.
One of the
he's spitting game, man, as far as being left out of the conversation.
Yes, he is.
And shout out to Mia Jones, man, talking about that Nas magic. Come on, man. Like,
you already know me.
Let's just salute Miss Jones real quick and give her the bomb real quick. That right? I mean, obviously that came out in December, but I consider it a 2022 record.
Yeah. It bleeds over.
That's when it bleeded over to 22. That's pretty much my favorite record too, man, besides the Fife joint. So shout out to Miss Jones.
That was a roll through, Miss
all
Jones.
Day.
It definitely was what was it, 7 songs, I believe? 7-song roll
let's
through.
Go. But anyway, like you were saying, man, about the after the female joint.
Oh no, just the Power Steering. All I was gonna say, brother, was the fact that it was yet another hard joint. It seems like they purposely didn't allow that beat to be at its full potential, or it's like there were certain air pockets, as one of the commenters said about.
I think Touch said that on the Danger joint.
Okay, yep. This one has those pockets. Much love, Mia, much love, and you're definitely getting those spaces when you hear the production of that joint, but both of them still rapped hard. But those are just a few of the joints that like really kind of stood out to me. I will say that I didn't really, and this is just preliminary, but I really didn't hear the punchlines like how you normally do with the Punchline King. I heard more life lessons and wordplay, like heavy wordplay.
Nice.
But again, it's just a preliminary here. So if there's more in there, and I'm gonna definitely go back on this album, I heard more of the, phrases such as "you'll have an army as long as you feed your soldiers." That was on Power Steering.
That was dope. Yeah, that was dope too.
Yeah, or another one was sometimes you gotta have the fallouts to see the truth, and you showed me that, and that was on the Living Proof. So he was kind of mostly in deeper in that zone with Course of the Inevitable 2. A little bit more from what I could tell. Preliminary viewpoint, remember, but it seems like he was deeper in that zone than he was on the first one, but that first one was still dope too.
But I agree with Darren, man. Like, but production was decent. It sounded like he still had the same production team.
Yeah,
the bars were heavy though, man. Like at first I was like, oh man, he's too dark. He's too dark on the record, man. He ain't got no party records. He ain't got this. And I started listening to it, and it's serious. Then the other thing, man, is Conway and Benny blessed their verses, man. It wasn't, and don't get me wrong, man. I love Jadakiss, but every now and then Jadakiss will give you just something quick and then get up out of there because he ain't charging nobody nowadays. But Benny and Conway went so heavy on this joint, man.
They were serious.
They were serious. If you haven't heard those records, please go cop them. And if you go on Spotify, you can see the difference in the numbers of plays on those. Those two records have the most plays. You know,
drop a bomb for those stats and analytics, right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was crazy, man. But again, Touch is right again, man. Matured and purposely wrote. I think I agree. He wrote less punchlines, man.
Yeah.
You know
okay. So
he said that on Joe Budden. So again, shout out to Touch,
bet.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just I thought it might have been just me from the first notice, but that is something that I thought was kind of interesting. But it still goes heavy. It still goes heavy.
It does.
Still a dope work about.
It's definitely something you need to add to your playlist. This is something you definitely have to add to your playlist, man. If you're on Apple Music, Spotify, man, YouTube, definitely add this record to your playlist just to put in the whip, man. It's definitely a July, August situation, man. Put in the whip, man, and get heavy with it. So
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?